I'm Jennifer, and this is my knitting and nattering video podcast. My little shiny sticker that I'm supposed to look at, so I look at the camera and not at my own picture, is now gone. I don't know where it went. We were on holiday last week. We just went up to Aviemore. My kids occasionally use my pad and they must have taken the sticker off. I'm getting all ahead of myself. I'm trying to look at the camera. I'm sorry, I'm going to screw it up and not. So that's the way it is. That I sat down to talk and almost immediately had a tickle. I am drinking Bird and Blend tea. This is their Assam House Blend, which is an Earl Grey. If you were interested in tea or beverages, that's what I'm having. I don't have a lot to show. Like I said, let me back up. Hi, I'm Jennifer. Today is the 28th of February, and thank you for joining me for my knitting and nattering podcast. I've got just knitting stuff to talk about today. It was half term here in the Highlands. I live in the Highlands of Scotland, if you're new. Now I've got the hiccups. This is going to be rather annoying. For me, I'm going to edit most of this out for you. I live in the Highlands of Scotland with my husband, 2 cats and 2 children in order of acquisition. Yes, I acquired my husband and my children. You can acquire people, right? I don't really have a lot to show for it. I did work a little bit on going straight into whips. I did work a little bit on I'm going to show you the correct side this time, my Bonhomie shawl. This is the finished and block side, although it has been stuffed in a project bag for a while, so not looking quite so finished and blocked. And this is the crumply lace side that I'm clearly still working on. You knit the triangle in the middle first, and then put half the stitches on hold and knit the side. So I'm on the second half. It is knit on the bias. It has a lace pattern. I went off pattern unintentionally for the first side, so I am just using a stitch marker to mark which repeat I'm on. My stitch marker is here, so that's what repeat I'm on. So I just knit that part of the pattern. I'm almost to the point where I square it off. Let's see. That little dangling stitch marker is where I was last time. I'm almost to the point where I'll do decreases to square it off. So I have worked on it a little. I didn't take it on holiday, so nothing dramatic has changed with that. It is living in this project bag. It has a tag. I cannot make out what the tag says, so I can't remember who made it. I got it off Etsy. It is delightful. If you love it and want to know if you can have your own, leave a comment below and I'll see if I can look up the Etsy shop. I believe this is from the same person on Etsy. No, this is someone else. This is from someone else on Etsy, but it is the same style bag because I have a type. Sorry, that was the Bonhomie shawl by Sarah Hatton. It is from the Something to Knit Together book, edited by the Arnall-Culliford Techniques team, and it is knit in Something to Knit with 4-ply, a wool and alpaca blend. See, I can do this. I know what I'm doing. My next project is my Joan pullover by Cristal Nihoul, I think. Is that how you say it? Cristal DK. I'm working on the second sleeve. I just picked up from the pink line and I've been doing my decreases. I just have one more decrease to go and then you knit straight for a bunch and then bind off. So since last you saw, I don't think I had, or maybe I had only just finished the sleeve. One sleeve. Half of a second sleeve. I've done the waist shaping decreases, so I'm on the home stretch on the body. I really kind of want this done so I can wear it. It has a lovely little lace detail at the neck. It is soft and fluffy. It is being knit in Drops Sky, which is an alpaca, baby alpaca merino wool blend. And it is a chainette ply. Black chainette is not improving my life in any way, shape, or form. There were short rows for the shoulders that just about did me in. And then the lace pattern was not great, but just the round around, I bought a smaller needle. I'm using the pink yarn to mark where the decreases go, because I go 10 stitches out from, no turnover, my little sheepy beginning of round. I've put decrease, every time I do a decrease on one side, I'm adding a marker. Normally I would count out how many I need, but I'm just taking them from the other side. There is one more stitch marker. Ta-da! One more stitch marker, one more decrease. Sorry, my phone's ringing. Sorry about that. My phone almost never rings, so it wouldn't even occur to me to put it on silent or anything. I was just booking the second appointment for my older child's second jab. So hooray, she'll be vaccinated soon. And they said they don't yet know what the plan is for vaccinating all the other 5 to 11-year-olds, but they're hoping to have it ready soon and let people know. So if you have a child in Scotland in the 5 to 11 zone, should be soon. I was talking about my jumper. I want it done. I want to be able to wear it. So I'm trying to get this finished. Then I'll have 2 long-term whips off the needles. This one was just last year this time or something. 2 long-term whips off the needles, and then I know I showed you a new pair of socks last week. These are not those socks. This is, I've lost the tag for this, I think. Yeah, that's a different tag. This is Ripples Crafts Doubly Reliable Sock Yarn. Reliable sock yarn is her 4-ply sturdy sock base. This is the DK sturdy sock base. And I thought I could just copy the last pair of thicker socks I knit. Turns out those were a sport weight and this is a DK weight, so I had to pull them back and redo them a couple of times to get the sizing right. The toe looks a little wedged right now. It does smooth out when I've been wearing it. It'll have a nice shaped toe. I tried to knit really tightly on the garter stitch on the heel because I've walked through some garter stitch heels. I've only just put this on a smaller circular. This is a 2.0 millimeter circular, but I find my tension is looser on the 2.0, so I normally knit thicker socks. I don't know if that was the door. I normally knit my sport weight socks on a 2.25, which I think is what I'm using for this. Though possibly I could have gone up to a 2.5, but the tighter you knit your socks, the longer they'll last, at least through like the bottom of the foot. Once you, like above the ankle, you can loosen up your gauge and have a looser sock that'll hold up just fine. Anyway, I'm trying it on the smaller needle. I've done one round. I'm not sold. I don't tend to use them. I was trying to get used to it, but once I realized my tension was so much looser, I kind of just put them aside. But we'll see how it goes for the thicker sock. Still having hickety haps. This color is the new dye shed. This is absolutely the colors of Helen's new dye shed. It is not a new dye shed anymore. I'm trying to think how many years ago she got that. It was a couple of years. I want to say like 2018, 2019. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, because the dye shed is gray and then they painted it purple. Lovely purple trim. It's really pretty. I haven't seen it in person, but I've seen pictures. And yeah, these are my socks. I had tried, one of my things was I tried just 2 more stitches than what this is, because I originally I cast it on, knit it up to the heel, turned the heel, and realized it was just way, 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 way too tight across like here. So I ripped it back and added 4 stitches, and then I knit up a bit, and I didn't like the way it was pulling. So I went back and took out 1 pair of increases, and so this is kind of giving it a striped effect rather than weird pulling. And then I increased a few stitches going into the heel, which I didn't decrease away or anything because I want these to be longish socks. They won't be knee high or anything, but I can make them a bit longer than I normally would, just so that you have the nice warm wool. And as you can see, it is pulling differently than it did on my foot, but the foot's the bit I will see the most, so that's where I wanted it. Yeah, socks a go. I've already done 1 increase on the back, and like every so often I will just do another increase and put markers so that I can roughly duplicate it on the other side. It does not need to be an exact science. It's a sock. It's stretchy. As long as they mostly fit. My legs are only mostly the same. Like bodies are only mostly symmetrical anyway. So yeah, I've started that. That was my holiday knitting. I also took my crochet corner to corner blanket that I'm making for my youngest. I did not do a single hook on it. I was worried my hands were going to hurt or it was going to be too much knitting on just the one project, but that turned out to be perfect. And other than the fact that I knit through the heel turn and like an inch or 2 beyond that, and then ripped it all back to the toe again, I would have made better progress because there was a lot of, and now I'll just sit here while the kids run around in the soft play. We went to Aviemore, McDonald Resort in Aviemore, and they have a soft play and a swimming pool with a slide and stuff like that. So the swimming I had to be actively involved, but the soft play, I just sat there with my mask on and knit and drank tea. And tried pastries, one of which was really good, one of which was mildly disappointing, and one of which was carrot cake that had licorice in it and some really weird icing, and I don't know what was going on with that. Absolute crimes against humanity is all I can say. Yeah, that is my whips in progress. That brings me to the new knit along that is starting tomorrow. It is the Hap Along 22. And it is being knit in the spirit of the Hap-along I think, were there 2 Hap-alongs that Louise Scollay of Woolwork, formerly Knit British, organized to knit Shetland haps. And in the spirit of the knit along for the Book of Haps, co-edited by Kate Davies and Jen Arnall-Culliford. And it was the knit along for this book that started the AC Techniques community, which is now on hiatus. There is the fan community still going. I started a Ravelry group for that. So if you want the information on the Ravelry group, let me know. I suppose I can put a link down below, or use the hashtag Hapalong22 for Instagram or Twitter or social, like whatever social media you're on. If someone else is using it, you can find each other. I just wanted to show today the 2 full-size haps that I still have. This is the Hansel by Gudrun Johnson. There's a half Hansel and a full Hansel, which I believe are listed as separate patterns both on PayHip and Ravelry. I got the, what did I do? The Craftsy course. I did the Craftsy course, and you start off with a little mini hap, which I saw. I've been like, every day I've seen it, I've been like, oh, there's the mini hap. Oh yeah, no, the mini hap. Okay. And then when I went to find it today to talk about it, I couldn't find it. So I started with the mini hap. It's really cute. I love that Craftsy course. It is so soothing and calming and comforting to listen to. I don't normally like video tutorials, but I just found it was so nice to listen to. And I could possibly do with listening to it again, because it is a time when I think we could all do with a bit of comfort, since it has been kind of extra terrible. We thought everything was bad enough. But yeah, I knit this for my youngest child. So I knit it in 2016. She was born in January of 2017. And I've been saying that this is the most recent hap I knit, but then I remembered my friend had a baby in 2018, and I did knit a hap for that baby. So that's the most recent one I've knit. I just don't have it anymore. This is knit in Blacker DK in the classic 4-ply. For some reason, Blacker yarns always seem thicker than what they're listed as to me. I would say this is a sport or light DK. It is scrumptious and wonderful and snuggly. We keep it in the conservatory just like for a lap blanket or a shoulder blanket if you need it. The other hap I still have is this one. It's the same construction style, which was corner to corner in garter stitch. The Hansel, you pick up the stitches all the way around from the square and then knit the old shawl border. The feather and fan is, I believe it's more commonly known in the US. You knit the old shawl border in the round, and then you pick up and do the lace border on the outside. This one is knit almost the same way. You start with the square in the middle, and then you pick up one side and knit the parallelogram flat, and then you pick up the stitches for the next side and knit the parallelogram flat until you've done all 4 sides. And then it's got a knit on border again. And so I knit this in 2012 because my oldest was born in 2013. And this is knit in Fiber Spates Scrumptious 4-ply. Again, it's a bit heavy for a 4-ply. Makes a lovely, snuggly, cozy wrap. And by a coincidence, because I put my jumper on before I knew I was going to be talking about the hap today, I bought enough at the time to knit myself a cardigan as well. I don't remember what this is called. It might be like the Rosemorran cardigan or something like that. And it was from the Scrumptious 4-ply book, which again, edited by Jen Arnall-Culliford. I believe. I think she's also modeled some of the pictures. I think. No, I don't know. Anyway, That was a book that came out in like 2014. I know I picked one of the patterns and then I plunked the stitch pattern, my gauge for the stitch pattern, into custom fit and generated a slightly different cardigan. The buttons I originally picked were too heavy and too small, so I slid out. I bought a new set of buttons and I've only put one on. So the rest of it, I have gotten as far as cutting the old buttons off, but that's all I've done so far. And I was a lot skinnier when I custom fit this. I mean, I should really just do like a plastic button or something. But yeah, I don't wear this all this often, but I thought it would go well. I wanted to wear, this is a Montrose top that I sewed myself. And I wanted a red cardigan to go with it. So yeah, those are the two haps I still have. Boop, boop, boop. I am thinking, I'm leaning strongly towards knitting Gudrun Johnston's book in the Book of Haps, in the Book of Haps. It is lovely garter stripes in Shetland wool, of which I have lots. That's, so you knit here, and then you pick up and knit the two side triangles to make one really, really, really big triangular shawl. I believe two of the knitters in my monthly knitting Zoom that I've been doing since this time, not even this time, slightly later in the year of 2020, for the last 2 years, roughly. One of the knitters in that Zoom group, my brain isn't working. Two of the knitters have knit that shawl, and one had it in the end of January Zoom. And that was kind of the impetus for all of us to be like, we should really do this again. So that's where the idea for this came from. And then tomorrow, today's the 28th of February, tomorrow, March 1st, which may be after the point I upload this, depending on how I do, that's when it starts, because that is also when the current knit along by AC Techniques comes to a close and they are shuttering their business for the time being. So it is a farewell cozy shawl knit along. The rules for the knit along are participation is the most important thing. If you want to knit a hap, that is called a hap. Louise Scolle's hap along was that it had to be a hap either in construction or in name. So items that were called haps. And I just want to, the two I have done are from the inside out. You can also knit them from the outside in, where you knit the border and then you knit these bits and then you knit the square in the middle, which is how Kate Davies' hap is in the Book of Haps. So this was knit the lace border and then the old shawl and then the square in the middle. So that is also a traditional way to knit a Shetland hap. And yeah, so it needed to be hap in construction or in name. And then that was the hap along that Louise Scolle did. And then this book and a couple more haps came out after that. The AC Techniques have always been more, participation is what counts. Usually like when that was the techniques, as long as you did a project that had the technique, that was what counted. When they've done like designer themed ones, and If you knit something else by the designer, that counted. So we're kind of, I mean, if I don't want to play rules, lawyering. If you feel that you have something to knit that would belong in this kind of knit along, then come hang out. There's no prizes. It's not like you can cheat to win prizes. The only prizes are the haps and friends we make along the way. Which I know sounds corny, and yet like that's what we have from the first 2 knit alongs is haps and friends that we made along the way. Both of which I cherish, the ones I still have in my life, which is why we're doing this again. So life stuff, I mentioned we went on holiday. I thought Aviemore was really high up in the mountains in the Cairngorms, because that's, you know, like, oh, it's the high mountains and, you know, a ski village. And where I'm from, ski villages are thousands of meters up in the mountains. Aviemore is about like 230, 225 meters. Where I grew up, Redwood Estates, California, in the Santa Cruz Mountains, was 480, I think. It's like half what I grew up at. But somehow, when I'm there, I always feel like I'm out of puff, and I'm, you know, like it's the craggy mountains, and it looks like it's really high up. I don't know why. And we're a lot further north, so you don't have to be as high up to be cold enough to snow a lot. It snowed before we went, and we did take the sledge, and then Chris and Catherine, the younger one, went sledging one morning, and then the snow all melted, and it rained, and it snowed, and it rained, and it snowed, and it snowed, and then the snow all melted, and we discovered Catherine's snow boots. The only shoes we took with us had huge holes in them. So we bought her new welly boots, those being the only waterproof shoes I could get in her size on holiday. We went swimming, the kids and I. I took one child swimming, and the other child hung out with Chris, and they did stuff together. And then after an hour, we swapped, and I took the other kid swimming for an hour. And then I'd get out and I'd be like, okay, let's have lunch now, because otherwise I'm going to eat you. Which I actually told Catherine, like, if we didn't get back to the cabin soon, I was going to eat her for lunch instead, in my attempt to jolly her along. Excuse me. We went to a disco one night, the girls and I. That was fun. Christina, the older one, got to crack a hard-boiled egg on someone's head. They had a dozen eggs, and one of them was not boiled, and the others were. So to find it, they pulled kids from the audience to crack the egg on the staff member's head, and find out which one was the raw egg. And it turned out being the 11th egg that got cracked. Yeah, so it was a good holiday. It was a lot of fun. Chris was grumpy for a couple of days, but once he got over that, it was better. Chris doesn't always travel well, so that's one of the reasons we always get a cabin, because being able to control food makes a huge difference. So yeah, that's kind of what we did for the last week. My legs are really, really sore. And then Catherine started swimming lessons when we got back. So we got back the Wednesday. School started again Thursday, Friday, but we took Thursday off so Catherine and I could go to swim lessons, and we were doing it, and my legs were like, are you really sure? Do you know there's a lot of hills and stairs? I do a lot of walking, but it's really flat. So hills and stairs were definitely different muscles, and lots of swimming. And the swimming pool has a slide, so you have to go up like 2 flights of stairs to go down the slide. My legs are definitely feeling it. The weather's finally a bit nicer, and I found my running kit. I wanted to go running, I think, was it 2 weeks ago? The weather was a bit nice, and I was going to go running, and I couldn't find my running kit. It was folded up and put in my pajama. It's my pajama box. There's a drawer, and I've done the Marie Kondo thing where I put the stuff in the drawer in boxes to keep it, like, this stuff fits over in this side and the stuff fits in this side. And it was in the pajama box it was the correct drawer, but it was in the pajama box and not in the leggings box. And it's just all black, like it was folded up and all you could see was black. You couldn't see, my running trousers have like a mottled pattern on it, which at least if I'd seen that, I would have known, but it just looked black. Like all the other black stuff I have, black is my neutral. So yeah, I finally found it. So today the weather was warmer. I went for a run. I only did week 3 of the Couch to 5K, which is a 5-minute warm-up, 90-second walk, 5-minute warm-up walk, 90-second run, 90-second walk, 3-minute run, 3-minute walk, 90-second walk, 90-second run, 90-second walk, 3-minute run, 5-minute cool down. That's really not a huge thing. The 3 minutes were really hard. My breathing wasn't great. I have a touch of a cold, and like it was hot in the sunshine and cold in the shade. When the wind blew, I needed my coat zipped up. I did wear my new headband that I knit to go with my jacket. It was probably just a little, I don't know, it was probably about the right thing because it lets enough of my hair out that you don't get too hot, but keeps you a little bit warm. But basically, when I was at, so the end of my loop, where there's trees over here and trees over here, and the sun goes this way, it was cold at the ends and then warmer going between them. So it wasn't like I just kept my coat on and then unzipped it a bit and then zipped it up again and then zipped it down a bit and then zipped it up again to keep temperature kind of the way. So yeah, I did my run today. Yay! I really want to be doing my running. I just feel good for having gone for a run rather than just sit or, you know, the walking. And admittedly, the reason I wasn't running and stuff like that was like I had the chest infection most of the winter. So that obviously was a contributing factor to not feeling well, but I want to run. I want it. I feel good when I do it. So yeah, I was happy to get back to that. And that's kind of where we're at right now. I think I have some videos of like holiday things, or at least pictures, snow, train pictures, snow pictures. And yeah, if you want more information about Hapalong 22, check me out on Instagram. I'm Jenna.aves there as well. I'll put a link down below. If you made it this far, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I don't have much of a social life, and this is a huge part of it. And I really appreciate any views, comments, Hapalong participation. But if you could give it a thumbs up or subscribe or anything like that, that just helps share my video with other people. And maybe we can all be a bit less lonely. See, now I'm going to get all melodramatic, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know how to end this in a way that isn't completely cheesy or pathetic. So thank you for watching, and I hope to talk to you again in a week or two. Bye. I am leaning strongly towards the lang air. I have dumped out my Shetland collection. This is mostly Jamieson & Smith's Shetland 2-ply. There's some Jamieson's of Shetland and some Ripples Crafts dyed Shetland. And I'm thinking just a grab bag, like just pull yarn out, roll, I don't know, maybe a D20 to see how many garter ridges, and just knit.
annoying vibe. Oh, she's too nice, she's far too nice. Right, Christina, what made you pick Maddie? She's staring at you. You were asking for this one, Maddie, really. She's like, oh, she was staring at me all night, made me feel weird, so gonna have to smash her on the head with an egg. It's the only way. This has to happen like this, guys. I'm sorry. Right, guys, get your eggs at the ready. Eggs at the ready. Hold them out like this. Right. On top, yeah, right. Everybody calm down. 3, 2, 1.
Have you seen my hat? No, I haven't seen your hat. Okay, thank you anyway.
Everyone's supposed to be scared of that.
Have you seen my hat? No, I have not seen any hats around here.
No, supposed to be scared of big people.
I don't know. Okay, thank you anyway.
From bears.
Have you seen my hat? No. Why are you asking me? I have not seen it. I haven't seen any hats anywhere. I will not steal a hat. Don't ask me any more questions. Okay, thank you anyway.
He has it hat.
Have you seen my hat? I haven't seen anything all day. I have been trying to climb this rock. Would you like me to put you on top of it? Yes, please. Have you seen my hat? I saw a hat once. It was blue and round. My hat doesn't look like that. Thank you anyway. Have you seen my hat? What is a hat? Thank you anyway. Nobody has seen my hat. What if I never see it again? What if nobody ever finds it? My poor hat. I miss it so much. What's the matter? I have lost my hat and nobody has seen it. What does it look like? It's red and pointy and... Oh! I have seen my hat! You stole my hat! I love my hat. Excuse me, have you seen a rabbit wearing a hat? No. Why are you asking me? I haven't seen him. I haven't seen any rabbits anywhere. I would not eat a rabbit. Don't ask me any more questions. Okay, thank you anyway. The end.
Again.